So good morning, everybody. Here we're on Saturday. It's hey, it's the is it really the 1st of June already? Wow, it feels like more like April. Anyway, um, so we're reading through another account of the beginning of Solomon in Chronicles. And it really struck me this morning that the big difference between Solomon and David. You know, we have David, he's a mighty warrior, without a doubt, but David was an artisan at heart. He was a poet, he was a musician, a songwriter. The temple gets credited to Solomon, but it was David who designed it, so he was an architect as well. And there was just an expression, this incredible expression that had to come through David in music and songwriting and such. And then we have Solomon, and Solomon is definitely, he's a politician and he's a businessman. And we see that. So, in David's time, worship was changed so that it was more than just the offerings, animal sacrifices. It became a thing of music and song, and it was constantly before the Lord 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Solomon brought in this great prosperity. It was and it was because of his business dealings. First of all, the first thing he did was a political move where he married the princess of Egypt and solidified some ties there with Egypt, and then he entered into a business arrangement with Egypt, where he became the broker, I guess you would say, of the chariot and horse business. He would buy them off of Egypt, and then he would sell them to other countries. And in similar fashion, through the wisdom that he asked the Lord for, he governed the people with wisdom. He brought in peace into the kingdom through the political arrangements, and he brought in a great prosperity. But there was a fault there, that if he had his father's heart, and there might have been more expression. I'm not saying that there wasn't any artisan in Solomon at all, but it wasn't to the degree that it was with David. And we've got to keep this in mind. As good as we get at business, as good as we get at relationships, it's got to be about the worship. It's got to be about the relationship we have with the Lord. It's got to be our love for the Lord and our expression. We have to express that. We have to be public in our expression of it. There's, in our declarations and being vocal about these things. If not, regardless of what we do, it's going to fall apart. Because you look at Solomon, and Solomon really he was the reason why the kingdom split. It was his weakness for women, his lack of wisdom in that area. It was really lack of his pursuit of the Lord, the lack of worship in that way, lack of devotion to the Lord that really caused the kingdom to be split later on down the road as idolatry came into the kingdom. So this is something we have to keep in mind, and it has to be at the forefront all the time. Worship must be key to everything that we do in our church, everything in our tribe. It's got to be key. So you be blessed, have a great day, and just prepare your hearts for tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. God bless.